Beloved child, don't close this video just yet. The Father isn't asking that to hold you here against your will. The Father is asking because there is something the Father wants you to hear all the way through without interruption. Let your mind settle for a moment, child. No need to brace yourself. No need to wait for something dramatic to happen. Just stay here with the Father for the next few minutes. Out of everything you could be watching right now, you stopped here. The Father doesn't know exactly why. Maybe it has been a long day. Maybe there is a question you have been carrying around. Maybe it was just a passing bit of curiosity. But whatever the reason, the Father wants to use this moment to say something honest to you. Dear child, you have been through a stretch that hasn't been easy. There have been days you gave it everything you had and still felt like you were standing still. There have been nights you lay there staring at the ceiling, wondering if any of your effort was actually going anywhere. The Father isn't saying this to make you feel worse. The Father is saying it because the Father wants you to know you are not the only one who feels this way, child. And feeling this way does not mean you are failing. Something quietly shifted a few days ago. The Father isn't telling you that to spin some mystical tale. The Father is telling you so you understand that your quiet effort, the times you didn't give up even when nobody was watching, none of that was wasted. It has been adding up to something, even if you cannot see the results clearly yet. Today, the Father wants to walk you through 3 parts of a conversation. Not 3 mystical seals, not 3 locked doors that need a magic word to open. Just 3 honest truths about 3 things that matter in your life, dear one. That hollowed out tiredness, that loneliness even around other people, and that fog around what your life is actually for. Part 1, when you are tired and you don't know why. Have you ever woken up feeling restless, child, even though you got a full night's sleep? Little things that never used to bother you now sit in your mind all morning. That quiet confidence you used to carry has been replaced by an unease you cannot quite name. The Father wants to be clear about something. This is not a sign that you are being punished, and it is not proof that some dark force has a file on you. It is simply how your mind and body react when you have been carrying more than your share for too long without enough stillness to recover. That is true for every human being. When feelings get pushed down long enough, the body finds a way to speak up, even if it doesn't speak in words you recognize right away. What the Father wants for you isn't panic, and it isn't chasing after some invisible enemy to blame. What the Father wants for you is permission to stop, even just a little, and actually listen to yourself. Maybe you need an earlier bedtime. Maybe you need to say out loud to someone you trust what has been weighing on you. Maybe you just need to admit, I haven't been doing great lately, without feeling guilty for saying it. If any of this is landing where you actually live, go ahead and hit like right now. Dear child, not as some spiritual ritual, but simply as a way to mark this moment so you can come back to it later. In the days ahead, don't expect a miracle that erases all your exhaustion overnight. But pay attention, child. Maybe you will sleep a little better one of these nights. Maybe you will catch yourself smiling for real instead of just going through the motions. Those small shifts are worth noticing because they are the beginning of recovery. Part 2, when you feel lonely surrounded by people, there is a strange kind of lonely, beloved. You still have friends. You still have family. You are still talking to people every day. And yet somewhere inside you still feel like nobody really gets it. You show up for other people again and again, and sometimes you wonder who shows up for me. The Father isn't going to tell you there is a list of divine connections arriving on a precise timeline in the next few days. That wouldn't be fair to you, child, because real relationships take time, trust, and a little bit of risk when you decide to open up. What the Father will say is this: if there are relationships in your life draining you more than they are feeding you, you have every right to reconsider the distance that is healthy. They're not out of anger, but out of clarity. And if you are longing for deeper connection, the first step usually doesn't come from waiting for someone to find you. It comes from you opening up first, even just a little, to someone you already trust. If this describes where you are at, drop a comment with the word connection. Dear child, not as some mystical password, but as a reminder to yourself, I deserve real relationships, and I am willing to start even with the smallest steps. Part 3, when you are not sure what your life is even, for there are days you do everything you are supposed to do: go to work, handle your responsibilities, take care of the people around you, and underneath all of it, there is a quiet question that keeps humming. Is this really all my life is going to be? The Father isn't going to promise you a precise timeline, not 48 hours, not 21 days for when you will find the full answer to that question. Here is the truth, child. Purpose rarely arrives as one single flash of lightning. It usually comes in pieces, through the choices you make, through the things you try, and through the things you discover just aren't for you. What the Father wants to invite you to do is set aside a little time each week and ask yourself, what made me feel most alive this past week? No need for a perfect answer right away. Just start noticing. Over time, those answers will start sketching out a clearer picture of the path that is actually right for you. If it feels like time to start your own search for meaning, share this video with someone you think might be asking the same questions, dear child. Not because sharing it will activate anything, but because sometimes the best way to clarify your own thinking is to say it out loud to someone else. And they might need to hear these words too. About the road ahead, the Father wants to be honest with you about something, child. Once you decide to change anything in your life, whether that is resting more, opening up to people, or pursuing what you actually want, you will not be immune to days when you doubt that very decision. There will be a day you wonder if you are wasting your time. Someone, maybe without meaning to, will say something discouraging. Unexpected problems will come up, not because some enemy is punishing you, but because life is simply full of things no one can fully predict. When those things happen, dear one, don't rush to conclude that you got it wrong. Give yourself time to settle down. If someone says something that shakes your confidence, you can listen to them with respect. But you can also stand your ground politely on what you believe is true, especially when it comes to the people who genuinely care about you. Parents, close friends, doctors, or trusted professionals. They are not obstacles for you to push past. Most of the time, they are the ones who can help you see more clearly. If an unexpected expense shows up right when you are trying to build better financial habits, don't let panic push you into a rushed decision. Take time to think it through. Ask a professional for advice if you need to, and make choices based on a clear head, not fear. Real stories, no exaggeration needed. There have been people, child, who sat exactly where you are sitting now, feeling exactly what you are feeling. One soul went through months of feeling completely lost, and little by little, started writing down the small things that made them feel alive. Over time, not overnight, but through weeks of persistence, a new direction started to take shape. Another soul felt deeply lonely despite always being busy with work and social obligations. They decided to reach out to an old friend they hadn't spoken to in a long time. That one conversation didn't fix everything instantly, but it was the first step toward a deeper friendship they still hold on to today. Someone else struggled with constant exhaustion until they finally let themselves truly rest, not resting out of guilt, but resting with the acceptance that they needed it. Over time, their energy came back, not as some miracle, but as the natural result of finally taking care of themselves the right way. Another soul went through a rough financial stretch, not because they weren't trying hard enough, but because circumstances pushed them there. Instead of making panicked, rushed decisions, they sat down, built a small step-by-step plan, and sought advice from someone with real financial expertise when they needed it. It wasn't fast, it wasn't dramatic, but it was steady. And over time, they found their footing again without ever waiting for some sudden financial miracle. And there was someone whose health had been declining for a long stretch, feeling tired all the time without knowing why. Instead of self-diagnosing or waiting for some supernatural sign, they finally went to a doctor and had an honest conversation about what they had been experiencing. It wasn't easy, they would put it off for a long time out of fear, but that one act of taking their own care seriously led them to answers that passive waiting never would have given them. These aren't stories dressed up with specific dollar amounts or exact day timelines, dear child. This is what usually happens when a person allows themselves to slow down, listen to themselves, act responsibly, and take small, steady steps instead of waiting around for one magical moment to change everything in an instant. One more thing the Father wants you to know here is a truth that is easy to lose sight of in the middle of everything, child. No one has to prove their worth by working themselves into exhaustion or by always looking fine in front of other people. Your worth isn't measured by how much you get done in a day, or by whether you manage to make someone else happy. You have gotten used to gritting your teeth and pushing through, afraid that if you stop, everything will fall apart. But think about it, beloved, how many times have you actually stopped, and everything was still okay? How many times have you let yourself rest, and the world kept right on turning? Your body and mind weren't built to run non-stop. Rest isn't laziness, it is a necessary part of growth. The same way soil needs a season lying fallow before it is ready for the next planting. The Father also wants to speak to a fear you might be carrying. Child, the fear that if you change, the people around you will not understand. They will ask questions, they will judge. That might be true to some degree, but remember, this life isn't yours to spend satisfying every pair of eyes watching you. This life is yours, so that one day, looking back, you can be proud that you stayed true to yourself, even when that made some people uncomfortable. A blessing for you, child. Now the Father wants to close with a series of things hoped for you, not as some magical decree, but as an honest blessing straight from the heart. May you find the stillness you need to restore your energy. May your sleep grow more restful, day by day. May the unease inside you gradually give way to peace. May you learn to forgive yourself when things don't go according to plan. May you find the courage to open up to the people who have earned your trust. May the relationships that drain you be recognized and released at the right time. May you find friends who truly listen without judgment. May the love around you grow more genuine by the day. May you gradually discover what makes you feel most alive. May your small steps, however slow, keep moving you forward. May you have patience with yourself on this search for meaning. May you trust that everything you are going through right now has its own value. May your finances grow steadier through wise decisions. May you have the clarity to tell a real opportunity apart from a passing temptation. May your health be cared for properly, and may you trust the advice of qualified professionals when you need it. May your mind stay clear enough to know when to rest and when to keep pushing forward. May your family always be a place you can come home to. May old wounds heal in their own time. May you always remember you don't have to walk this road alone. May each passing day leave you feeling just a little steadier than the day before. Before you go, dear child, if any of this meant something to you today, the Father is glad. No need to do anything more to earn the peace or clarity you are looking for. You are already worthy of it simply because you are who you are. If you would like to support more content like this reaching other people, there is a link pinned in the comments, completely optional, no obligation, and it has nothing to do with whether good things come your way. That part depends on you, child, not on any donation. If these words brought a little comfort, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Not because the angels are watching who subscribes, but simply because if this helped, the next one might too. Thank you, child, for staying all the way to the end. Take good care of yourself in the days ahead. And if things ever feel like too much, don't hesitate to reach out to family, friends, or a qualified professional for support. That is not a sign of weakness. That is an act of wisdom and of respect for yourself. May the days ahead be lighter, clearer, and full of real connection for you, beloved child. Keep going, one step at a time, with all the patience you can give yourself.